Welcome to episode 22 of Meet the Voter, recorded Sunday, March 13th. It's about 6, a little after 6, and we got Blab all working. So we got Heather Havenwood from Austin, Texas. She's our Republican from Texas. We always have to have a Republican from Texas. Got Republican Bob, so we're really getting the Republicans on tonight. And he's from Central Valley. And, of course, we got Dr. Nicholas Hernandez, Progressive Democrat from Laguna Beach, California. So I think we got two Trump supporters, one Bernie, and then I guess I'm Cruz still, but Cruz, I don't know. This has been a crazy week for Republicans, I would say.
All the pictures just froze on my end.
Nick, you're fine. Just keep on talking.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Okay, keep on going. And Heather, let's let Heather lead the way.
Let's lead the way. Well, today, actually, it's a Friday, South by Southwest. Obama has come into town for South by Southwest Interactive, and he has done the keynote speech. And I find it really interesting timing-wise because he said, quote, "I'm here to recruit you. I'm here to recruit you people because we as the government want to infiltrate and help commerce between internet and small business." AKA, they want to control the internet. And it's on Facebook. Feel free to look it up. And it's just boggling to me that
Did he say infiltrate? Did he use that word?
He did. Feel free to look it up on Facebook because right now it's all over Facebook. And how he says that the internet's a great thing, but there's people making commerce on there, but there's also these people that can do bad things on the internet. And he wants to be able to help the American people so that doesn't happen. All right. So it's a very interesting perspective because South by Southwest is the first part is interactive, and it's basically internet marketing. I mean, it's internet marketing, commerce, all that kind of stuff is here. It's all a lot of young people. It's kind of that piece. And it's the first time an American president's ever come to South by Southwest. I mean, ever in history, right? So it's a pretty profound deal. Now, being in Austin, it takes over the whole city, right? He knocks down things and you can't go anywhere, and it's kind of nutty. So I don't personally like that from the traffic perspective. But I mean, at the same time, I find it really fascinating. The words that he says, and it's on Facebook. You're welcome to watch it. He's very slow in his words and meticulousness. And I feel that this is what his plan is to basically, in my words, control the internet. Because there's a lot of commerce happening on the internet that isn't taxable. And so he has to be able to control that. That's how I feel. But as of this week in Meet the Press, I definitely feel that there has been an eruption in the Republican Party, and we'd love to talk about that if possible, because I feel, actually from Alex Jones just came out with this, that the actual punching that happened in Chicago Friday night that he had to cancel came from Clinton, came from money that's funding Clinton. It says Bernie, but I think it's really, I don't think Bernie supporters isn't like that. They're way more peaceful. It's all Clinton money coming like that. But they wore Bernie shirts, and they wore Bernie, or they had Bernie, what do you call it, signs, but I don't think it was Bernie.
So, Bob, why don't you head off the next one? What's happening?
I was going to let Nick. She made this vicious right-wing attack, and I thought Nick would want something to be able to say. So, Nick, go right ahead.
Yeah, well, having Obama involved in the internet is only intelligent. I'm sure you'd probably rather have somebody else be a keynote speaker.
How about new government?
Yeah. So, and as far as the knockout punch, I would imagine that there were both. I doubt that. Clinton would do something as put Bernie shirts on people and have them go to a rally. I think Bernie people probably were there, and I think of course, in any of the Bernie rallies, you never see any of this stuff. And it was funny, Donald Trump, if you notice in the last in his last couple of speeches, he has said he's attacking Bernie. He's not attacking Hillary, and there's a reason for that. And I thought it was really cute when he said, Bernie, you better be careful because I'll send my supporters your way. And of course, Bernie said, send them my way. They'd like to see a real honest candidate. And there are no fights or any of that stuff, and I'm sure there's probably Trump supporters. If they were really, if Bernie wins, there'll be plenty of Trump supporters at Bernie's rallies causing, havoc. I mean, it's what happens in politics. Politics, one time I saw a bunch of Democrats at a convention go in with a Hillary group, and they gave them Hillary signs. But this group had a bunch of stickers that said anybody but. So they all went in, they got Hillary signs, and then slapped on these stickers as they went out into the main convention area that said anybody but Hillary. I mean, to me, that's really CS. It's not honorable. It's not honest. It's not really a way that politics should be working. But you know what? Both sides are doing it. Both sides are everybody everywhere except Bernie is they're telling lies about people. You know, they're trying to tell, you know, just throwing garbage at each other left and right. And you know, Hillary is running scared. And I think that one of the ways that you can tell is that now Trump is attacking Bernie. He's not talking about Hillary. And that's quite a shift over the last couple of weeks.
Was that Bernie coming down the mountains with those two tablets? You know, the guy who doesn't lie or anything else like that. He's a politician. He lies, for goodness sake. They all lie.
Do you think that's cute or intelligent, those kind of silliness? I mean, does that amuse you? It doesn't amuse me. I mean, it makes you seem like you're not as bright. I know you're a bright fellow, but you start talking like that, and you seem like an idiot. I'm sorry when you start saying these silly things.
If you demanded his argument, you could always call him a name. And see, I've turned a nice, softer side today, so it's okay.
Yeah, right.
That
is so insulting. Just that you say things like that is it's not a really part of an intelligent debate.
Look at Bernie, and you look at the move on factor. Those guys, the Black Lives Matter, the answer groups, that's the Occupy Wall Street. Those are all Bernie's allies.
Mm-hmm.
So now you could say that
people I love.
You're bad people, but Bernie is above it. He's above the fray. He's got his white gown on. You know, it's a bunch of hooey. Bernie is just a politician, and
everything I said, I could back up with facts. But just walking down the mountain with tablets is just ridiculous.
You said he's the only one who didn't lie, so I figured he must have been the second coming.
Name a lie.
Maybe they give special 10.
Name a lie.
11 to 20.
Name a lie that Bernie's told you.
Well, what he's lying to everybody is he's going to all of a sudden give everybody free college.
That's not a lie. It used to be that way.
Bob, I would say he's not lying, but the problem is I don't know how well his.
He's not going to be able to do that. There's no way.
It's not a lie. That's just what he is.
It's a misrepresentation of the truth.
Not necessarily.
It's a lie. You can't do it. You can't.
I went through junior college for free.
California used to have free junior college.
Well, the problem is now
that's California. That's why they're bankrupt.
Yeah, the problem is now.
Not back then.
Well,
they're bankrupt because
not even close.
Public employee unions.
California is bankrupt. What are you talking about? Yes, it is.
That's a lie.
Wait till that PERS scandal comes through. That's about $500 billion. That's unfunded mandates. They're going to have to be paid. I know. I'm a member of the PERS.
Oh, PERS, right. I was going to say it's just the unfunded mandates that, Nick, the public employee unions, unfunded mandates there's just not enough money down the road for the state.
What frustrates me,
the cities, 3 cities have gone bankrupt.
How do you know that?
Because I was a city council vice mayor, I dealt with it all the time, the PERS and the projections. And Stockton's one of the cities that went bankrupt, our sister city, or one of our cities close to us. I mean, if you look, it's an unfunded projection, but California has run out of money because they have to have a balanced budget, which is good, but their taxes are relatively high in income. They bring in a lot of money, but it's the PERS, the unfunded mandates. The operational count, I think, is okay, isn't it? Bob knows. Bob works and Bob's there. Bob is right there with the Senate, right? You know what's going on.
I see it all the time. Like I said, to me, what really frustrates me is I look at when Obama came into office, there were 80 million people that were not in the workforce. Now there's 93 million who are not in the workforce. And that's the problem that Bernie, Trump, and everybody needs to handle. We need to put America back to work. So how do we make that happen?
How about working on the infrastructure, which so sorely needs work?
Well, Obama did that $3 trillion stimulus thing, and he said there weren't quite as many shovel-ready jobs. But
look how much stimulus went to Wall Street and the bankers that should never have gone to them.
Crony capitalism.
Never.
Crony capitalism. Yes.
Yeah, it should never have gone. And most of that money went to the Republicans, to conservatives.
Oh, Democrats ran at that time, presidents, Senate, and
Bush. It was Bush. Remember the bailout? It was Bush.
Oh, don't even go there,
Nick. I think the bailout came after when Obama came in.
Bush started
it. Bush started it.
7 years.
But Obama continued it
and caused it with a phony war.
And it wasn't the war. It was just the was the housing. It was the S&L and the mortgage issues that caused the banks to go under. It wasn't had nothing to do with the war. It was the bank. It was the mortgage industry.
That's not accurate, Bill.
Nick, it is. I mean, we were in an industry for.
No, it's not. That's not true. We spend so much. We spend trillions on war, and that we don't need to fight.
No. The banks went under because of the mortgage failures.
Yeah, they were selling bad. Yeah, they were selling bad mortgages.
Frank Dodd.
Exactly.
Yeah, Frank Dodd. Yeah. That's two separate things from the war.
Yeah.
I agree. The war is too expensive.
If you look at the numbers spent on the bad wars, it dwarfs all the things that Bernie wants to do. It just dwarfs them. You know, that F-15 thing or whatever, oh my God, there's so much. Do we really need to be as big as the next 12 countries in the world for our military? How about if we were bigger than the next 6? Why, Bob? For what? To keep spending money to make a Halliburton and Boeing,
You're a walking cliche, man. For an intelligent guy, you are the walking cliche.
The only thing to be concerned about, if we don't have a strong military, we'll probably have more wars.
We do have a strong military. Like I said, if we were stronger than the next top 6 countries in the world, we would save trillions and still be the masters of the planet.
We are still funding because we have a strong military. We're protecting a lot of the other parts of the world. I mean, there's a limit to how long we can do that. I understand.
We could do it if we would cut our budget in half. We could still do that, Bill. We'd still rule the world.
Nick, you got to look at that link I put up. It's $3.4 trillion is our budget, but that's the discretionary budget is much, much less. Yep. And 60% of the discretionary budget does go to the military, but it's very small. It's less than 1.4 trillion. So we have obligations. You got to look at the budget. Let me pull this up again. You got to study this site, and you think a little bit differently. I agree. There's waste because the military is part of government really, and they're very wasteful in the way they bid, things of that nature. There's no doubt in my mind. But you do need.
It's highway robbery. It's highway robbery. What they do. And, so stuff is stolen because there's really not enough oversight. Things are, how many? There's billions that are just unaccounted for. And the Pentagon says, well, we don't know. What's up with that? I mean, you see it on so many issues, all this equipment that they leave behind and ends up fighting us. I mean, that it didn't need to be left behind. And we didn't even need to be there in the first place. Iraq was a farce. I mean, and so many other, we've had continuous war for.
Everyone agrees.
When was the last time we weren't at war? Can either of you guys remember?
Yeah, a lot when I was on active duty after 1980 until 1991.
No,
that's
11 years. Long time.
No, 72 to 91 war we had with Grenada.
Yeah.
72.
And Panama.
And Vietnam, Panama and Grenada, correct. That's
right.
But
yeah,
Panama, it wasn't really a war. That was just a quick action because of Noriega.
Mm-hmm.
With Bush. You know what happened there? I was on duty
who we propped up, right?
Pardon me?
Who our government propped up is Noriega.
Yeah,
and then we turned on him. We propped up the Shah, then turned on him. It's this a continuous.
Well, that's the State Department doing that. That has nothing to do with the military.
Yeah, and it bridges both Republican Democrat administrations. So
it's State Department. Yeah, don't confuse the military with the State Department.
Well, it seems like they're one and the same to me. They're starting these things.
No, they're definitely not. I've been over there.
Who rules who? Does the military rule the State Department or vice versa?
The president has chain of authority over both the military and the State Department.
Oh, what does the State Department do with Libya?
What does
the State Department do with Libya, Bill?
A horrible thing that whoever did it in Libya.
Nick, really, let me tell you how it works in the war zones. In the war zones, like in Afghanistan and Iraq, the military does have authority over the State Department for decisions because of military and security. But outside of those areas, the State Department makes all the decisions, even on security. For example, Libya was 100% controlled for security and had decision-making over the military. And there's a lot of conflict there because, they downsized substantially the security on September 1st, and then the attack was September 11th, late in the afternoon. I went to bed. I was in the 3-star headquarters in the region that night. So, I know that story pretty well. And I know that we tried to put in 2 teams ahead of time too.
Yeah, and I think Jonathan is asking a really a smart question.
Where's the sexy boss gone? That was a very smart question. Thank you, Jonathan.
Listen, when Jonathan is asking, where does America think it's protecting the world, when all over the world people are suffering? Who and what are we protecting when the Syrians and the Libyans and the Iraqis and people in Central and South America are getting hammered by all kinds of people? Who are we protecting? What good are we doing?
With that, let's go to our first break. We'll only have one break tonight. Okay, coming back off the break, we're going to talk about 1 minute about the military. Nick, you can everyone say one thing, and I'll finish up. Nick, do you want to say anything really about the military?
Yeah, I think that there's a false belief that we are protecting a lot of people, and I think we're protecting the rich in this country, and that's it.
Okay,
and
Heather, anything you want to say?
Not on the debate tonight. I didn't watch the debate tonight.
No, about the military, because we're going to go back and talk about what's happening politically.
Not really. I'll do a pass.
Okay. And Bob?
I love the military. I think they're there. They're the one thing that's actually written where we're supposed to have that support and the protection of. They don't support the rich. They support the poor. They support all of us. They bring, where they can, justice to different parts of the world. I believe we're on the right side, but again, that's where I'm coming from. I think we don't do things in a dishonest manner. I think we make mistakes, as we all do. Mm-hmm. But I think we do really have other people's the good intentions there.
Well, I'll finish up. I have 31 years active reserve, a lot of time in Afghanistan. We definitely make mistakes, definitely political in nature at times, but you have to have a strong military because it's a dangerous world. I can tell you, it's a really dangerous world.
I agree with
and
that.
We help prop up a lot of the other world, like Japan, South Korea, and those areas as far as the middle and parts of the Middle East too. But it's a mess right now. I can honestly say that. But I think it would be more of a mess without the United States.
I agree with that. Support our troops.
Anyway, so that said, let's talk about what's going on. Nick, you were watching the debate tonight. What were they talking about, the Democrats?
It wasn't a debate. It was a town hall.
Okay.
And where one person at a time comes up. And what happens is...
Oh, shoot. Nick, just come on back. We're having fun tonight with Blab, but he had great sound. So it was a town hall, which is not a debate. I watched a little bit of it. It looked a lot like a debate.
It stopped again, but I refreshed. Okay.
I watched it. It looked like a debate, like they're going back and forth. But
no, they weren't, because only one person was on stage at a time.
Okay.
They never had a debate. So what's happening, and one comment about that is, once again, they put Bernie first, which gives a huge advantage to Hillary. But Hillary is like my friend Mary was joking, she needs the prompting. So, because she doesn't know what to say, and she'll be switching on everything, flipping like she does. But boy, there are a lot of Democrats who are upset with me for attacking Hillary too. Somebody said, "Stop attacking us." Well, I do not consider Hillary us. Hillary is a skunk and a snake, and she is not me. That's for sure.
Hillary for prison. Hillary for prison.
No, I think if Hillary wins the nomination, whoever the vice president is will be critical. I still can't fathom how she can get out of the server situation.
That'll go away.
There's too many people. No, there's too many people that know about the situation with the server. There's just like way too many people.
How does Bush go in and kill millions of people and walk away? The people saying he's a hero,
Barack
and
Obama
lying to us.
Have that go away. Barack Obama wants that to go away because he is in the court of Hillary. Just watch it. Just watch. Praise my words. It's going to go away.
I disagree. I don't think there's two different courts in the Democrat Party. One of them's the Obama Chicago court, and one's the Hillary court. They're definitely two different elements out there. I think there's a divide.
Watch my words. I think it's just, I don't know how it's going to go away. I don't know the strategy is going to go away. I just really feel it's just going to go away. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. I think that's ridiculous. I don't like it, but I'm just watch my words. It's going to go away.
Well, I think if she does become the president and you've got so many people that know what happened or the information with the server, I mean, she said it wasn't illegal to have a server. Well, it is illegal to have your own server. It's a FOIA violation for starters. And that's not about the classified. FOIA means Freedom of Information Act. That you and I, Nick, myself, Heather, and Bob, we as citizens of America have the rights to see any official email that's not classified or personal in nature. And so there's
a lot of things that were supposed to happen and doesn't with the power elite on both sides.
I'm just saying that two wrongs doesn't make a right. So she's wrong.
You just dismiss that. So should they give Petraeus his money back and apologize to him for the two?
Yeah, they should. I mean, I think they should. If they let this go away, they should completely, get him out of prison. I don't even know if he's still in prison or not. I don't know. But
Hillary Clinton, we know her email was hacked.
I don't care if it was hacked or not. It's just the idea she violated.
There actually was a guy, and I think they're bringing it back to the United States right now, who had hacked her email. And says Clinton on her private server wrote 104 emails the government says are classified. Now, yes, they weren't marked classified because when she sent them out, she didn't say, hey, this is classified. She sent out 104 classified emails. She put people, security assets at risk.
Yeah, probably more than that. Anytime someone moves
to be president.
Anytime someone makes a movement in the State Department in Afghanistan, in the war zone, that is a classified document.
Yeah, but she did it.
The thing is, she acted a lot.
We only saw half the emails. The other one she actually deleted. And now that they gave this guy amnesty, the one who put together her server and everything, let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I wonder what is going to happen. He does have immunity, so
and that way they give him immunity. If he doesn't testify, his little backside's going to go to jail for a while.
Yeah, go ahead, Heather.
Okay, so I wanted to bring something up, and this is kind of turning the tables, but since it's Meet the Voter and we watched Meet the Press today with Chuck Todd, I wanted to bring up what you guys think, and Nick, is the thing that John Kasich, but here's the question on the table. Why is John Kasich still here? Okay, and the moment he said to Chuck Todd, I don't need delegates. I just need to win Ohio. It's like winning one state is not going to have you add that magic number. However, I think my view of what I see kind of the strategic chess playing happening is that he's staying in it. He's the establishment, whoever the establishment is, whatever that is. They've said to him, look, this is going to be a brokered or a convention where the super delegates are going to be the one to actually pick the nominee. And no matter what happens, you need to stay in it to win Ohio and stop Trump. Because they're trying to do one of two things. One, either if Donald Trump actually gets the 1273, they're going to make sure that he is not nominated. And two, John Kasich, all of a sudden, even though he only won Ohio, all of a sudden is going to become the nominee. That's basically what I heard him say, because Chuck Todd said, quote, that he needs 112% of delegates to win if he wins Ohio. I mean, that's actually mathematically impossible, right? So what do you guys think of why John Kasich is what is he doing? Why is he still here?
He's the great
name recognition. He's just trying to for the future.
No.
It's what Carson did. I don't think he has a chance for anything. But the longer he's in the limelight, the more people get to know his name.
He said, "quote today, I will be the nominee." Quote: I don't need delegates. I'll be the nominee.
He is the great white establishment hope.
Yes.
That's what he is. He's just a useful idiot, and I think Kasich is absolutely worthless. As an individual, and he said within 30 days or 100 days that he would get the immigration issue taken care of. Basically, we have
Bill,
everybody says a lot of things.
You experienced Kasich.
I've experienced Kasich face to face in a stairwell. Him yelling at me. Honestly, when I went back there after I got the nomination to run against Gary Condit.
Dr. Nick, I really do hope it comes to Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, because as a country, we need to decide which way we want to go. Let's make that decision. Let's get it figured out.
I'm right with you, Bob. I'm working as hard as I can.
And like I said, I'm not working that hard for Trump because I'm not doing anything. But I did see in a poll today in California that Trump is now leading in California.
I would think
he's leading everywhere.
Yeah,
he's leading everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
I don't interrupt you, Nick. I don't want to interrupt you, Nick. I'm sorry. I just want to hear Bill real quick. Can you finish by your case? I'm curious what you think on this last point. If you don't mind.
Bob knows about this. Bob was actually in the campaign, and it was one of our first campaigns. And got the nomination. We were targeted, and Gary Condit. Until I went back to DC, I went back to DC with a handful of other people who were in the targeted group. It was really nice. We got to go to Georgetown, met 40 congressmen. Newt Gingrich was leading our little group. But Kasich, I talked to Kasich one-on-one because he's really a rude and mean person. He did not like me at all because Gary Condit, one, was his good friend. But secondly, he needed Gary Condit's vote, and he was going to get Gary Condit's vote. He knew this already. So he was doing what he could do to remove the funding for my campaign from the party because it was a targeted district. And that's the only reason I jumped into it is because it was a targeted district. I won. I was in my late 30s. I vice president of the BIA. won the #1 custom home that year and had a small subdivision going. So I was, I ran. It took a lot of time. I worked hard for a year too, and it took a lot out of me to run that year. But Kasich was rude, mean, and screamed and yelled. And I was like, what did I do, man? He was under a lot of stress. He was in charge of finance, but not a nice guy. The thing too, it's amazing, is Gary Conrad was his buddy. He was going to do a fundraiser for him, but we stopped that because we embarrassed him so bad. And Bob helped on that with the Republican Central Committee. Really came to task locally. Really did a good job.
Kasich like we owned him.
Yeah. Kasich is using the exact same lines that Gary Condit used to use. Gary Condit, a Democrat in a Republican district, used to say country before party all the time. Yeah. And you know what? We have two different philosophies in America. You've got a bigger government and a smaller government, just to keep it simple. And it has nothing to do with country. Country is like when you're fighting in a combat zone, there's no party or anything. It's just you and your soldiers and people. Right. It's nothing to do in politics. Believe it or not, we don't really think about politics. And a lot of people in the military do not even vote. They can, but they don't because they try to stay totally neutral, especially officers.
Yeah. I want to agree with Nick, if I can, about I'm still watching part of the Democrat debate. They're talking about Hillary with fracking, and she's doing all the line and everything else. I don't like this town hall concept. I think that when you put his ideas next to her ideas, and then you could defend each other. But this way, he'd coming first. It's the bottom line is he can only throw so many punches, and she gets to counteract everying he said.
And it's happened every time.
It's not fair to Bernie at all.
DNC.
I agree.
Wasserman, they're trying this to Bernie, every step of the way. But he's still hanging in there.
Well, he's doing well.
Bernie. I think he's doing a great job. I do find it fascinating, these quote unquote town halls and these quote unquote debates on the Democratic side are just nothing compared to the Republican. I mean, it's true attackness on the Republican side. And then I feel like the Democratic side is kind of getting away scot-free. I mean, Bernie's getting attacked, don't get me wrong. But he's also getting what I call attacked in a bad way.
I'm getting you wrong.
Hey, I want to say something real fast, and we're going to finish up the podcast, and we'll go on. We'll do a little forecasting, and then we'll finish up the podcast. But you know what's really sad is both parties, Bob, you'll understand this. Both parties are using these debates as fundraisers. There's absolutely no reason that every debate shouldn't be streamed for free to the American public.
I agree with that. They are using it as fundraisers. That's a great point.
Both parties are using it on all the different medias. Every debate, as far as I'm concerned, this is a good job for PBS.
I have to play my Words with Friends and put up with a commercial, then damn it, you can put up with a commercial too.
No, it's not that. It's, for example, CNN tonight. I can't stream it.
Why?
I don't, because I don't have CNN at my house.
And it won't do it. I tried.
You have to pay to stream it. You have to get an account.
Oh my God. You've got to pay for something, a service?
No, Bob, it's not that. These are debates of our parties. And Bob's giving me a hard time.
I'm just tweaking you, Bill. Just
but that's what they're doing. They're doing it. All these paid media stations,
right?
Like this. I don't mind commercials. I just want to be able to see it because there's commercials in it too. Hey, with that, Nick, we're going to go to. We're not going to go to break. We're going to go just our forecast and finish up the podcast and talk for a little bit. Let's do a forecast. I'll start out. Let me start out, and we'll go around the circle, and we'll finish up with Heather. But I'm going to say that I think here's what I think now. Next week, I think Trump is going to win Florida. The case is going to win Ohio. Bernie Sanders, I think he's going to lose Florida, and that's the big one. That's because he's so far behind the polls. So that's my short term and long term. I'd love to see Bernie Sanders and Trump go against each other. But I don't know what's going to. I have no idea who's going to win both sides. Probably Hillary Clinton's probably going to win unless she gets indicted. But that's just my guess.
That needs to be changed in the Democrat Party because it is so lopsided for her in her favor. Bernie's done a hell of a job without having that in his court, and I think he has an opportunity to persuade some of those superdelegates to look his way.
Hey, one final thing. Do you realize that Ohio was not a take-all state until Kasich in the establishment there made it a take-all state for Kasich?
When did that happen?
This is the first time. It wasn't last cycle. Are
you serious?
Look it up. Yeah, Kasich is pretty much of a strong person. It was not a take-all state, and that's all the Kasich establishment Republicans setting that up.
Wow.
And Heather, what you need to do too with this Kasich is just Google Kasich/Condit, and it'll come up a fundraiser where we knocked him out.
I've got a great link. Yeah, it's still up there.
Oh, write that down. What's
Kasich Condit or Kasich Conrad, maybe?
Conrad?
No, Kasich Condit. And it'll come. I Googled it.
it.
Yeah, I downloaded the article last week. In fact, I was surprised it was still there.
I sent it.
Yeah.
Kitty Condit comes up.
Is that who it is?
Here's
So
here's
Nick,
one of
your
the
guy got
articles
a
right
shot?
here. There are all sorts of articles. Here's
Has your guy got a shot to
the
win?
fundraiser was scrubbed.
What?
Does
Here's the
Bernie
fundraiser
have a
that was
chance to win?
scrubbed.
'Cause I thought Bernie got cheated on the first caucus. I don't care what they said.
He's been cheated. You know how many videos have come up in Nevada about Hillary's the crazy accounts, and before Michigan, the closest poll that he was down 9 points, and I saw him down as much as 13 points in these so-called intelligent polls, and he won. And they're discounting him. They're lying. Hillary's campaign is miscounting votes. And still he's in there. And one thing that tells me the most is that Trump is attacking Bernie, not Hillary. The last two speeches, Trump has mentioned Hillary once and Bernie 25 times.
But at the Friday debate, they did have Bernie signs. They didn't have Hillary signs.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that. They did have Bernie shirts. It was on a campus too. So
and that's why I kind of don't think it's really Hillary's money. I think the Bernie people are out there. They're livid. They're as upset with the status quo as the Trump people are, but in a different way.
Yeah. So Nick, your forecast, and Heather, and then that's it for the podcast. But we'll stay on for a while.
Okay. I'm thinking that Trump, the momentum is just unstoppable at this point. And I think that Bernie will, again, keep surprising people. I think Hillary mostly shot it all in the first Super Tuesday in the South. And now if things are going to turn, Bernie's going to win Ohio. Again, he's down in the polls, just like he was in Michigan. But Ohio is pretty much the same, very similar demographic, very similar. And the people are coming out, I mean, like crazy again for Bernie. You don't see the same kind of fervor out of Hillary, it's sad with like Kasich or Rubio. The people look sad and forlorn, at a Trump rally or a Cruz rally, there's excitement. And Bernie has this strong.
Little Marco's not a happy camper today. And I really think I'd love to see Kasich lose Ohio and just get rid of those two turds. And then let's just have it Cruz and Trump and let them debate. And like I said, I think Hillary is a criminal. I think Bernie has different ideas than what our guys have, but let's debate those ideas.
Bob, you already had your time.
Okay, Heather, you're going to finish up with Heather, and that'll be it. Don't go three.
I'm kidding.
Come on.
So here's my forecast. Here's what I say. First of all, I'm really for Bernie. I think Bernie is a person of the people. I think he actually is going to do better than we think he's going to do. I think he is going to I think he is really a threat for Hillary. Unfortunately, I just still have this view that Hillary knows where the bodies are buried, and she's just going to pull it out. She's fighting for the race of her life. She's been like living this dream since she was 3 years old. You know what I mean? I just feel like she's gonna for every single punch.
Heather,
as far as the Republican side, I feel that Trump is going to win Illinois. He's going to win Florida. He's not going to win Ohio, and he's going to win North Carolina. That is my projection.
I think that's
my prediction is that Marco Rubio is going to win D.C.
Notice, like, you guys cut me off, and you don't cut these guys off, Bill. You don't cut these guys off.
A couple seconds of silence.
He's a sexist pig.
Yeah, sexist. Thanks.
Okay, I just want to say this. Cruz sounds like a pastor. I mean, I'm from Texas, and you think I'd be for Cruz, but he sounds like a Baptist preacher when he talks like this. I just feel like I'm listening to my pastor. And I can't do it.
I'm a Cruz supporter. I just don't like he says ain't once in a while.
Hey, with that, listen to your pastor.
Quiet for 1 second, 2 seconds. Okay, you can go free talk. I don't care.
Can
about
I
the sound
speak?
at all.
Hey, Bill, I want to chat about Cruz because he just said in a speech in 2015 that there's no place in America for gays or atheists. Now, I practice Buddhism, which means I'm an atheist.
No, it doesn't. That's a
Who doesn't? You're a Buddhist, not an atheist. Atheist means no God.
We don't do God. Buddhists don't talk about or ever. We don't do that. We do meditation and we practice living by certain principles for compassion, but we never talk.
He wasn't talking about you. He was talking atheist. He's a Baptist preacher. You can't
I am an atheist. I declare right now I am an atheist.
So what are you upset about? What are you upset about? He's a Baptist
because
preacher.
Cruz said there's no room in the United States for gays or atheists. Now, I think there's room for both. Plenty of room.
That was Cruz's father who said that.
That was Cruz.
That
Cruz.
was preacher's son. He grew up in Second Baptist in Houston. He went to Yale after that. I forgot. I think he went to Princeton after that. I mean, he is an establishment, and he grew up in Second Baptist Houston. I grew up in Houston. I know what that high school is like. It is like massive Baptist, controlling. I went to church there. It's ridiculous. So he sounds like a Baptist preacher to me, and I can't.
He is a preacher. Oh. Yeah, he is. That's what his dad today. Did you see that? Or it was yesterday. Said he was anointed by God to be president.
Dad can say whatever he wants to say. Don't hold it.
Let's do some preacher. Yeah, so I mean, I don't have no problem with him being a Baptist. I get it. I grew up that. I'm called a Baptist girl gone bad. That's what I call myself. I'm Baptist girl gone bad. I just think Cruz is.
How bad have you gone? Is this true confessions? How bad?
Confessions. Baptist girl gone bad, and I will never tell. I will never tell. But I think it's over the top. Now, I've never heard the quote on the atheist. I don't think that's right for him to say that, especially if he's going to run for president. That's a little alienating for a lot of people.
Or gays.
Oh,
the
yeah,
LGBT.
But see, he's saying that to focus on his quote. I haven't seen that quote. Yeah, I don't know. That's Nick.
Yeah, it's right here. I'll get it and put it up for you.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's focused on the evangelical, and that's what they want him to say. I don't think he's said that lately, but I'm not saying he hasn't said that.
Our religious. I am a Catholic. I have 8 commandments and 2 do the best you can. But I'm working on it. 80% will give me at least a B. So, hey, what can I say?
I'm a recovering Catholic.
Speaking of Catholic, why is the Pope dealing with politics? He needs to move on. He needs to move on.
There's a socialist now running the Catholic Church.
Yeah, he is a socialist.
Finally, a compassionate person.
Well, compassionate with his money. That does
not mean compassionate. I disagree with that.
At the Vatican, Mr. Pope, tear down that wall.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's got a wall around him.
50 feet tall.
50 feet tall with mercenaries.
Yeah. No, he's got this.
And he's standing at the Mexican border surrounded by tens of thousands of these rapists, and
I don't think Mexicans are rapists.
All around him, he has more courage than I've ever seen a pope have.
Oh, yeah.
Well, but you're an atheist, so we don't care what you think.
He's gone.
He's not an atheist. He's a Buddhist.
Well, but he's okay.
That is an atheist.
No,
yes.
As an atheist,
we don't.
I've been doing Buddhism since I'm 18. I really know it well.
Buddhism is still. Wiki says it's still a religion. It's just a religion or a philosophy. It's different, like you said. It's still considered a religion, though.
It's still considered a religion.
None. I have a Buddha belly.
I've been a Buddhist since before you were born, Heather. I know the religion.
I'm sure, yeah, but when Wikipedia says it's a religion, aka not atheist.
Whoever wrote that, I wonder if they've ever practiced Buddhism.
I know it's on the internet.
I'm going to sacrifice my cat right now. Go get some food. I was kidding about cat.
Buddhism, and
leave that cat alone.
He loves me. I feed it. I change his cat box. I mean, he's a Democrat.
Excellent.
Dependent upon me. I am the government for this poor little kid.
Hey, one thing, Nick, that I'm trying to find out and verify is that I haven't seen the numbers, but we know we had huge turnouts for the caucus here for Republicans. We had at least 12,000 people turned out for the caucus here for Republicans and only 8,000 for the Democrats. There's actually 12.4 and a little over 8. And that's a reversal. That means somehow people are turning over to the Republican Party, at least here, and voting. They're coming over. So who are these people that are coming over to the Republican Party and voting? And I think are voting for Trump.
Well, there's a lot of Democrats. There's a lot of Democrats that are voting for Trump too.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Who are they? Who are the Democrats?
Reagan Democrats.
Dakota Saunderton, he says the Queen runs the Church of England. What's wrong with the Pope running the church like a political administration?
He does. It's canon law. He is the head of the church.
He is the head of the church, but I don't think he needs to be. Here's my point, Dakota Sonder. I don't think he needs to be involved in the United States of America politics.
He's involved in world politics. He does this all over the world to all sorts of governments. He's not. It's not just the United States. He does this.
I understand that. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it, Nick. I think he needs to stick his nose somewhere else. I don't agree with it. He needs to go away. If there was a Buddhist here, if there was a Buddhist here and he was over here talking about, I would say, go away. This is a political thing, not a religious thing. He needs to.
If he has private conversation with Jesus, tell them what to do about our politics. They need to just have that conversation and keep it together to them. Yeah.
Keep church and state separate.
Jesus loves me. This I know. Because the Bible tells me so.
I mean, most of the Republicans would never agree with your statement there, Heather, because they don't practice it that way.
I don't think so. I don't think so, Nick. I think that most people realize that we have a separation.
We're supposed to. And then people like Cruz saying that there's no room if you're gay or an atheist.
Find the quote, Nick.
I just dropped in some stuff that says I just dropped in a link that says that they vehemently deny that accusation you said. This is written. Ted Cruz campaign insists he's not a gay basher, but he has no problem with embracing those who are. Oh, that's interesting.
But Jonathan's making a good point. He says, "Why aren't we talking about the economy?" And I keep going back to that. There's 13 million people less working now than when Obama came into office.
Okay, John, good point. Let me go over the this week. Every week I look at the Gallup and I listen to the Gallup results. Every week there's a report that I read and I listen to the report. So this week the top issues were: 1, with the American public, the economy; number 2, dysfunctional government; number 3, unemployment; number 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all real close. They're immigration, healthcare.
Are we keeping you awake, Heather?
Terrorism is less of a concern right now.
Are we keeping you awake, Heather?
I went to a wedding last night.
Gallup. Gallup did a poll on religion, on healthcare. And a majority of people do not want single payer in the United States. They want actually a private healthcare system.
I agree with that. I'm one of those, but I'm going to vote 1 on the private healthcare.
Interesting, but they want it through insurance. That doesn't mean that you wouldn't still have some kind of way to insure most people.
Thank you.
But I thought that was interesting. That's not way up there. It's tied down in 4th and 5th. Yep. And 6th and 7th are race relations and terrorism.
Well, that's because that's more noted right now on the TV. But if you really look at what's happening with the healthcare, I think it would cause good things if they had single payer. Yeah. And it also cause, what are the words, like letting go? I'm using the wrong word. Help me out. Like getting rid of the state lines. And it would cause competition. It's kind of like what happened with electricity companies, things like that, deregulation. When you have deregulation, you have competition. Right now, we're kind of in monopoly in a way with insurance, and hence the rising of insurance. So deregulating insurance, I think, will help lower the cost. But I don't know if it's ever going to happen because the pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies are in bed with Obamacare.
Well, Jonathan being on his deathbed is still talking about the economy. He still cares about jobs. He still cares about people.
Number 2 is dysfunctional government. Number 3 is unemployment. Right. And by the way,
unemployment.
Where the jobs are in the United States, Orlando, Salt Lake City, Austin, Nashville, San Francisco, and Atlanta are top places to go for jobs right now. The lowest are Hartford, Providence, New Orleans, Oklahoma City, and Houston. And the last 3 because of the oil industry.
I think one of the something that I saw. This is just giving you an example. So I'm a small business owner right now. I'm looking for a personal assistant, and I reached out to a company here in the United States, and I asked her, that's what she does, virtual assistant company, right? And I said, okay, what are your rates? And she's like $30 an hour, and I'm just like, what are you, crazy? Like that's nuts. That's why businesses today go overseas. You can get someone for virtual assistant for $10 an hour. And I'm just giving you one example. But the problem with the United States of America is that people like, I want $80 an hour. To do what? You're not even skilled. I got to teach you. You're not coming to the job with the skill that's going to create ROI. And that's where I get frustrated as a business owner. And so you get people, I mean, we deal with that right now with the weight loss company. We have to hire somebody. We have to hire them, and then we have to train them. And then they're asking for double the money? Like, you're crazy. We can't do that. We can't do that as a business because we're not going to have any profits. We have no profits already.
So
that's really frustrating. Yeah, we can't make payroll. But people are like, oh, we want $50 an hour minimum. I mean, with our business as it is right now, if that was a forced $50 an hour minimum, we could not hire anybody. We couldn't hire anybody. We couldn't do it. It'd take all of our profit.
You know,
and
somehow the big corporations survive for the most part somehow, and especially if they have government contracts because they get used prevailing wage. So it's all prevailing wage plus with a built-in profit for the most part. And that's how the bigger corporations manage and do the jobs.
But for small business like us, we're just trying to, hire a customer service rep or hire a first assistant or something like that. We can't hire $15 an hour. We don't have the profit margin in our business. Yeah. If we do, we have to double our prices to the consumer. We're not going to be able to sell. I mean, people don't understand that. They just look at minimum wage. And I'm like, okay, if that happens, guess what's going to happen? Okay, minimum wage $15 an hour. Our prices just went up 20%.
We bought a Shakey's Pizza Friday night. I went and picked it up, and I walked in there and I looked.
You bought a business or you bought a pizza?
No, we bought a pizza. Anyway, it was Shakey's Pizza. It's Friday night because that's, Friday night. Can't eat beef. So meat. Anyway, I walked in there and I've done this to a couple businesses in town. I look around, I see how many people are there eating or buying stuff and how many employees are in there. I said, yep, these guys are going to go out of business because the food industry is the toughest industry.
Oh.
Payroll wise, it's really affected a lot. They're going to go out of business even without anything happening.
I worked for a restaurant for plenty of years, Bill, and the most important thing is you have to have people there for the projected business you have. Yeah. You cannot be understaffed. They probably make more money during this middle part, and they take the losses on the end part of it.
But the payroll is by far one of the biggest costs.
And Jonathan, I understand you're talking about the high cost of living. I understand that the high cost of living has come from Obama. That has been a huge impact. And that's why we want a Republican person in there to lower the cost, not Bernie saying, oh, now everyone's going to $15 an hour. Now the cost of living even goes up even higher because the small businesses, the local dentist, the local chiropractor, the local acupuncturist, the local grocery store is now forced to do $15 an hour or $18 an hour, and that's going to drive the cost of everything because they got to keep their profit margins at least a little bit. I mean, we're in a very small business. We just started 7 months ago. We are doing very well. At the same time, we have no profit right now. All the money that comes in the door goes right back into the business, right? And so we have to hire someone at $10 an hour, plus we give them commission for ROI on that. But when she first came to us, she's like, oh, I want $18 an hour. We're like, Forget it. No way.
Hey, real fast, did you see some of the comments up there blaming Obama for the economy does not take into account that Congress passes laws. Republicans of both houses. I think most Republicans agree that the House, the Senate, and the Congress and the House has done terrible at last few years.
That's why we're pissed off at the whole business, Republicans and Democrats, and that's why we have an anti-establishment candidate in there. So when you see Rubio getting 90% of the vote out of D.C., what does that tell you?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's winning, both.
Because that's bizarre.
And Cruz winning Wyoming, okay, there's 3 cowboys and 2 sheep. Who cares? Just go.
Wyoming is very small.
Take it to the bank. Have a nice day.
And by the way, I don't know if y'all saw the thing with Trump, and he was talking about because Rubio was going after him about how he hires illegal immigrants for a low wage in Florida, and he's like, well, that's how Florida is. I lived in Florida for 10 years. Trump's correct. That's how it goes. There's a thing called a season. It goes from Thanksgiving, November till about March. That is called a season. And they hire up. The hotels and resorts hire up. And then they have to drop. And then they hire up and drop and hire up and drop. And there are some people called seasonal workers where they go up north and down south and north. That's Americans that do that. But most are either legal or illegal immigrants that are willing to do that kind of work for that short a period of time, and they go back to Mexico and they come back because that's just how the season's gone. It's been like that for 40, 50, 50, 60,000 years. I mean, that's how it is in Florida. He's not doing anything weird. And they're like trying to bash him. And he's like, this is how it works in the resort industry. It happens in Colorado too. It happens in resort areas where there's a season up and down. And I don't know why they're attacking him. I don't agree with that.
It's 100% legal, that system. They don't use it out in California with the farmers don't use it, but
they used to.
Yeah,
Bill, in the business, you were the building industry. Huh? When you were building, you would hire contractors. Contractors would hire people, and half of them were illegal.
Yeah.
So now, were you hiring the illegals? No, you were hiring the contractor to get the work done.
No, but all my guys and my crews, we did our concrete in house. Everyone was on my payroll. They were all 100%. True story though. You remember remember the big builder? I can't think of his name. Horn. He left. He's gone. He was buying the cheap lots and building houses real fast. I know the companies. I don't want to record because we're recording. I'm not going to say the name of the subcontractor, but I know who they are. They had yellow trucks. Anyway, they had a raid by INS at the time, and I was building pretty close to them. And they were pouring concrete, and 25 of their guys were running by their middle pours. Literally, they lost more than half of their people while they're middle of the pours. That's wow. You can't stop in a pour. We're just laughing.
We've lost 13 million jobs in the last 8 years since Obama has come into office. If we're ever going to have peace between the races in this country, there's going to have to be an opportunity for everybody to participate in the American dream. We have to find a way to put these 13 million Americans back to work, plus additional folks, so then they can become people who are taxpayers instead of become recipients. And basically, when they become recipients, that's when they vote Democrat.
Yeah, most.
When they're dependent upon government, you're always going to. When you rob Peter to pay Paul, guess what? Guess whose vote you're going to get? You know, you're going to get the poor guy that's getting the money. You know, I mean, Paul's going to vote for you every time. He's going to love you.
It's interesting,
and that's all we have right now.
Hey, Bill, I wanted to say something. What you guys thought about this on the Meet the Press today? The very, very end, when he talked about, they noticed a correlation between the states, 9 out of 10 of the states that Trump had won in. The two things were 5% are more unemployment, and then 8% or more African American. Mm-hmm. And then he said something quite disturbing. He said that it's not that he's winning with the minority of vote. He's winning with the non-minority of vote that is living in areas with high minority. Now, what I heard that as is AKA he's winning with the white voters who live with the minority. Now, that's what I heard. And I just thought, wow, that's kind of, I mean, there's no proof.
The comparisons with George Wallace all day.
There's no proof of that, but that was what he was kind of saying. You know, what do you guys think of that?
Well, they were comparing him with George Wallace today. And George Wallace, who was a Democrat, for God's sake. You know, who stopped the kids from coming to the schools. That's not what Donald Trump's all about. Donald Trump's about, bringing opportunity to all people. Let people work. Put people back to work. Let's make America great again, and make my kitty great again.
What they're comparing to is the rhetoric of Wallace to the early on. I mean, he was. Yeah. So
I agree with Steve. Jonathan, you think more like me the sicker you get. Please get well soon anyway. But his thought process of putting people back to work, it's not a Republican or Democrat issue. It's an American issue. Yeah. More money coming into the pot means then you can afford to take care of those who are unable to take care of themselves.
By the way, John Kasich is the poster child for that centrist Republican Democrat who is controlled by the corporations. It's John Kasich.
The only thing you find in the middle of the road, dead skunks. We don't want no damn John Kasich.
Establishment party. He's 100% bought into the establishment party.
No, he's terrible. I mean, he's really, really bad. And I think Heather, was it your
welcome back?
Was it Bob or Heather who wanted? I thought you wanted Bernie to win and wanted Trump.
I want Bernie to win.
That would be good.
I want Bernie and Trump.
Bob said.
Bernie and Trump. That's what I want. I don't think the establishment on either side will allow it, though. Either side, I don't think the establishment will allow Bernie, and it won't allow Trump. But that's what I would like.
Okay, I got something to show you here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm going to read it. It's a quote from Ted Cruz, Liberty University, 3/23/15. There is no place for gays or atheists in my America. None. Our Constitution makes that clear. Ted Cruz.
What is it? Liberty? What year?
Liberty 3/23/15.
Can you find the link, Bill?
I'm going to do that right now.
Is that a link, Nick? Is that
I don't see a link here.
What's going to be just on your
here? Can you guys see this?
No, all you see is like whiteness.
Liberty. Was it Liberty?
Okay. Liberty. What? Liberty University.
What's on top of
Liberty University 3/23/15.
Interesting.
He said there's no place for gays or atheists in my America. None. Our Constitution makes that clear. What an idiotic statement. There's nothing in the Constitution remotely saying any of that.
That was a bad move on his part.
Well, no. Just political fact finder right here. It just says that's not true. Watch this. That's that link.
Ooh, Bill's got a bam.
Well, let's see. I'm going there now.
Did they not record
There's the article.
it?
They have that same article you're talking about as a fact or true.
There's no evidence Cruz made this
It's
remark.
a real just
Ever.
It was out of Facebook.
Yep.
So why didn't they?
It's a Facebook generated source. It's not a real source.
Not real source.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a fact finder.
I
I don't think
You got. There's a couple truth checkers.
Also
press uses.
Everybody can generate anything. From what I listen to this guy, that's exactly the kind of things that I would expect.
But you got to go to
say.
sources. You got to go to first-rate sources, like a reporter with a first source, and that's not going to be 100%. But you go to first.
None of these sources are 100%. They're all biased.
No. But you got to go to first source on it. I ran research for a few years. I went to school for research in the military, and first source is so critical. I've been a first source on some things my life. Bergdahl. I was first source on that Bergdahl. I played a little tiny part. I was a first source on where the headquarters I was in. It means I got to see the intelligence and with
No, that's better that way.
on September 11th, 2012. We're all first source when we saw the towers hit. I mean, those who woke up and saw them hit by the plane.
Dakota, why would I subscribe to a 24-hour blab? That just sounds like really bad reality TV.
24-hour blab.
When are you going to sleep? You got to sleep, especially if you're going. So who got married?
A friend of my boyfriend's friend's daughter. So we were out last
so constellation.
night. Yeah, they were. It was a cute wedding. It was beautiful. She was in her 20s. She seemed so bliss about life. It was adorable.
Well, ignorance is bliss. Then you grow out of it, and you see what life's really about. And it has a lot of heartfelt, trials and tribulations. And you learn what's going on, and hopefully we'll be able to down the road talk about as I mentioned before, California enacts first in the nation law to eliminate student suspensions for minor misbehaviors, and a lot of it is based upon just they want to reduce the number of suspensions for black kids or for Hispanic kids. And I mean, to me, if you set the parameters and for these students, if we're boring you, Heather, just let us know.
I'm sorry. I didn't get
okay. I'm ready to go fishing.
We did a lot of drinking and not much sleeping, so I'm just tired.
Well, that's okay. That's
on that article that they that went around the internet and social media. The source to clarify that is the Washington Post transcript.
Oh,
so if you go to the Washington Post transcript, there's no, that's not in there. So it was created on social media and by people like Bob.
Beware the Ides of March, baby.
And like
the
Nick.
15th. Everybody's going
Nick
down.
doesn't do that. Nick, that's not political sting.
Okay, I'm gonna snoop it and see what comes up.
I'm just saying though, you got to really source it. And the Washington Post, if you want to take the time to read the transcript, that would be the transcript from the day, which is March 23rd.
That's not a link, sweetie. Did you mean to put a link there, Bill? There's no link.
Wait a second. Let me see if this is the Washington Post transcript right here. Here you go.
Okay. I didn't see a link.
I think that's
Maybe
the transcript. Let me look at it.
Okay.
Should be able to find the transcript from that because that's the Washington. Yeah, that's the transcript down below. That's it on that day. So not now, but if you want to take the time, you can see the laughter, the applause, and it's all in there from that day. But what happens is in social media, it's kind of crazy.
Cruz say that they're
Nick, just read Nick. Go to the Washington Post and read the transcript.
Would you not interrupt me? I'm trying to snoop this.
Nick, but go to that transcript. Please open it up and see what the first source looks like.
Well, I'll do it after I go to Snoops.
What's Snoops?
You don't know what Snoops is?
That's basically jokey things. They find out what sometimes is true or false.
What I did is I dug down through. We used to do this all the time in research. You dig down to find at least like the Washington Post transcript, which is a transcript from that day. And that's what they said is proof also that he didn't say that.
Pretty good research.
I heard
impressed
that Donald Trump is going to pick the Pope as his vice president, so we can get that liberal vote.
Will you place it on social media?
And the Buddhist votes. We're going to get them all.
But Heather, even though you even said you wouldn't be surprised if he said that because you know his background is Baptist.
I don't think he's that stupid, though. He wouldn't say that. But I wouldn't be surprised if he thinks that. But I don't think he would say that.
I don't think he even thinks that. Okay, because he's a constitutionalist, and that's not in our Constitution. I mean,
Yeah.
What's really weird though is you go back, and that's the federal government does have a responsibility to protect civil rights. And that's one of the jobs of the federal government, to make sure that states and local governments do not violate your civil rights. I remember when I was in council, Bob, we used to make some laws that I'd vote against, and people said, why would you vote against that? Like the anti-panhandling and stuff like that. And the person who put those ordinances in effect was like the Green Party guy on our council. Yeah. And it's anti-liberty and freedom and anti-panhandling. You can't have aggressive panhandling, but you can't stop people from panhandling, period. Or
Jonathan says there were 16 bad stories that the Washington Post wrote about Bernie Sanders,
you guys,
and I don't know what they are. I don't read the Washington Post.
According to Snoops, you guys are right. He never said that.
Yeah, actually, okay. I'm on Snoops. While you're doing that, I looked up the Snoops article. Here it is.
Right. It says
right here, Snoops. I looked it up on Snoops while you're doing that.
Okay,
wow, so I learned something.
I stand corrected.
There's a lot of Snoops is an okay source. There's about 5 or 6 verification sources, but you have to find.
Hold on a second.
Nick, you have to find the link to the Times, not the Times, but the Washington Post to get the transcripts.
I think I'm not going to breathe. Nick was wrong. I'm like.
There have been times though where newspapers falsify information, or twist information.
I'm kidding. I won't tell anybody.
Anything else? Hey, for next week, what's up?
I'll admit it. Anytime I'm wrong, I'd love to be corrected.
Next week, we will be burying the establishment, the Republican Party. There will be a burial. And this one, I believe that Barack Obama will attend this funeral. Maybe.
If he wants to, yeah.
Yeah, if he wants to.
We're very happy that Barack Obama is leaving Austin on Tuesday, so we get our city back. That'd be great.
Like I said, what I've seen on the Drudge Report today is they showed the attack on Ronald Reagan, which sort of the parallels between Ronald Reagan and Trump with these attacks and the viciousness it brings out from the other side. Yeah. It's outrageous.
By the way, Bush was the establishment. You know, the Bush.
He was, but that got moved. That got moved to Kasich. All that money got moved to Rubio, and then they're like, "Oh shit, he's not going to win." So
but Rubio's hands were too small; they can't hold all the money.
Right.
It was barely with Rubio, not for long. I wonder, hey Bob, who do you think told Rubio? I understand Rubio was like 1 year older than me, or a couple of years older than me than I ran for Congress. I made some stupid mistakes when I was Rubio's age too. But who do you think was consulting with Rubio, telling him to fight back against Trump? Because someone was telling him to do that. One of his advisors. That was a stupid.
Who would know? I mean, that'd be hard to figure out.
You can figure it out if you're inside campaign. Whoever the campaign manager is,
I could
consult. Someone
Karl
told him.
Rove? I don't think so, Dakota. Really, Karl Rove?
It could have been Karl Rove. Honestly, it could have been Karl Rove. I wouldn't put it past Karl Rove's people to be talking to his people. And
Bill, I agree with you. I think that Karl Rove put a suicide belt around Marco and ran him the hell into the room.
We know Karl Rove. I forgot, what were you doing when he had that fundraiser for Tom? Were you on the campaign?
What?
Karl Rove did a fundraiser for his guy.
Yeah, for Tom. Yeah, he did a good.
Were you on the campaign?
Job. Oh God, yeah, I was working for Tom.
I forgot when that was, before or after, because I think I went to that.
Oh wait, we
I must have been afterward. I went to that.
Hey, Bobby Schnarks, I agree with you. Rubio came off like a little brat. He did kind of come off. Here's my image, though, of Trump and Rubio. It's like the WWE. Trump's this really big, tall guy, and then Rubio's over there going, hey. He's just kind of holding him away like this, like, okay, little boy, like, tell me when your brattiness is done. Like, I had this little cartoon image going on in my head.
That's how I feel about Trump. God.
And it's
Trump is a personality. Trump is the leader of a movement, and the movement is USA, number one. Put us back to work again. But like I said, I really think that Karl Rove put someone like Marco up to that, because the bottom line is, when you send a suicide bomber in, he's gone. But you're looking to take out the big guy.
Karl Rove behind is whatever they're doing. Karl Rove is leading that thing.
Oh yeah, he is. Hey, Bill, what were you? Were you Marines?
I was Army. 9 years. Air National Guard. I flew rescue helicopters, and then I went back in the Army so I could finish up my active duty, because I went back in for 3 years in the Air National Guard, or Air Force, on a program, the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, which I loved. Mm-hmm. And then I got out. Then I did a couple of small little tours, but I wanted to finish up my active duty, so I transferred back in the Army on a special program and finished my active duty up.
Hey, Heather, he's a West Point graduate.
So it was fun to come back. I was a captain when I got out of the Army, and when I came back in, I was a lieutenant colonel.
Yep.
And Bill, I worked on Bill's campaigns.
Yeah.
Up until the one campaign, he ran against someone I had already committed
And
to.
we're friends during that. That never busted. A lot of people don't understand that. It's hard running against him.
I said, just don't. But the bottom line is Bill, and I have the utmost respect for Bill. There's two people I'd take a bullet for. One is the guy I work for, Tom Berryhill. The other is Bill Conrad.
For me. I know you're taking a bullet for me,
That's
right?
Senator Tom Berryhill, state of California.
Well,
Senator's a big deal in California.
I take a Nerf bullet for you, but no, I take one for Bill. But Bill's the kind of guy, like I said, and I've told him this many times, that he's powerful. He'll run up that hill, and he's going to get killed, charging for what he wants to do, and they'll build a statue for him. And people like me run along outside and lobbing grenades. The only thing that matters is you win.
You know, one thing we did really well, and I think I helped Bob on this, we really got some great people in office locally. From Lee, Lee Lundgren is Karen's good friend and attorney for a county recorder. You didn't, but other people, Jim DiMartini. I got to work alongside Bob when I was in elected office, and he was out there getting the grassroots people all in place, which is really good. And he did a great job. He's really good.
Yeah, I'm just going to cover this up. So I don't want to have to look at her snoring.
I keep yawning. It's 9:30.
He's really good though. Sometimes you got to get a class on we both could give a class because we have different viewpoints on how you get people elected. I'm on the not big money system, high, targeted votes and mailer.
Hey, how come we don't have our map? You know, the map that usually shows.
No, they got rid of that. And Bob is go raise as much money, $1 gazillion, and keep on raising money. I like to run candidates.
Yeah, what happened to our map? We don't have the map of where people are in the world.
They got rid of. Let me tell you the upgrades on Lab. First of all, you can test your mic before you come in. Was everyone able to test their mic tonight with a little green thing before it came in?
Mm-hmm. Excuse me?
If you're a host ahead of time, Nick, like you're a host ahead of time, you can check your mic, which is really nice. You're going to be able to do that with everybody. So you see a default mic. You can see how it's sounding. And then the other thing that's new with Blab is it's got a white. It's the artwork is now 1,000 by 1,000.
1,000 by 1,000. Okay, that's new to know.
You put it used to be
it just stopped again, and I wish Blab would upgrade that.
What's that?
I'm stopped again. You're all frozen.
Well, you're moving fine.
I think you're fine, but I think that could be your bandwidth where you are too. I'm not positive.
I don't know.
You need another government program. We'll get it for you next week.
Remember the first bunch of Blabs we did, it never happened, and maybe it's where I'm at now. But for some reason, it happens like constantly.
We could make you. Here's one last projection: is will Blab survive?
Yes,
I think I've heard that they spent a lot of money setting this up, and it costs nothing, and they're trying to keep it in place, but it's going to take them a long time to figure out how to become profitable. But they've spent a ton of money. I think they spent about like $11 million.
I think YouTube's going to buy it. Google's going to buy it. Someone's going to buy it. Facebook's going to buy it.
You could probably recreate this yourself.
Why don't you buy it and pay your people $10 an hour? You make a lot of money.
Smart ass.
I believe that Elizabeth Warren will soon be the vice presidential candidate and will be pushing a savings.
Oh God, they will not put an Indian on the ballot.
They will do that. They will do that. I think so, Jonathan. If
we're talking about Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, they'll put Elizabeth
She
Warren.
said she was an Indian. Yeah, she said she was an Indian.
Elizabeth Warren's
remember
a white girl?
Yeah, I know, but she said she was an Indian.
Are you serious? Well, let's fact check it.
Fact check it. Elizabeth Warren, are you an Indian? Give her.
Oh, Indian.
Okay.
I love that woman.
I didn't say that. No,
that's highly. Hi, Yella and Al. Hello.
Hi, Yella.
Hey, Yella. How you doing?
Thank you, Khalid, for the coffee. Yes, that'd be awesome. I'm tired.
Sure. Oh, Mary, there's a wiki does have something on it.
Really? And what does it say, Bill?
I'll let you guys read it.
Are you serious? Her name is Elizabeth Warren.
Yes.
White girl. Seriously? She claimed
one of the jobs she got was because she said she was an Indian.
Oh, Native American, not Indian like India.
No,
like,
Cherokee.
What do you think? She owns a sweatshop, for Christ's sake, in India? No, she's an Indian.
It's Cherokee.
Native American. That's Indian.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's Native Americans. Very different. Cherokee controversy. That's possible. And nowadays, you can figure out if you're 1/10 Cherokee.
Yeah, the worst genocide that ever hit the planet.
Yeah,
100 million of them killed.
Listen, I'm half Irish and half Russian, and I thought I might have a little bit of African American in me because of what invasion we had over there. Because I dance really well, but I'm not.
There's a little controversy, but I'm not going to worry about it too much.
Yeah, no worries.
Hey, gang,
Anyway,
I'm going to check out. Everybody's frozen again, and this is so frustrating for
Nick,
me.
I'm gonna hang you up. You sound good, but I'm gonna finish you up tonight. If anybody wants to jump in, we'll take.
I'm gonna hang out. Go leave too.
I wouldn't mind doing a real test real fast. Bob, you're good.
Of course, I'm
Anybody
good. I'm great.
Come up, we'll just test real fast. See how you look.
2 hours. 2 hours. It's only 7:30 here. It's 9:30 there. It's time for you to.
Tired.
You do.
Time to go.
It's really. You should see it's blowing like heck up right now.
Did you order one of those pillows that help you sleep better? You buy one, get one right now too.
No, I have a boyfriend.
In the top 100 podcasts right now of the whole podcast world, there's a sleep. No, I'm not there. We'd be rich if we were. There's a sleep podcast. It's all about sleeping.
Really?
Yeah.
You listen to it to go to sleep.
How to sleep through a podcast.
You listen
and we put people to sleep tonight.
Like it's like a meditation.
Yeah, real simple idea. Let's see. Hey, I saw this. I want to see this gentleman here, Dakota, because he was putting on stuff.
North Dakota or South?
Hi, Dakota.
North or South?
Hello.
Hey, brother.
Hiya, Bob. How are you,
I know
lad?
Dakota.
I'm gonna
What's it?
go. Bye,
He's a
Bill.
politician
Bye,
from
Robert.
From the
Scotland.
Bye, Dakota.
That's right, from
Heather,
Glasgow.
you're
Hello,
good.
Heather.
Good.
Bye. Hi,
Good night.
Dakota. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
going
you
to
too,
bed.
love.
I'm gonna hang up
Well,
for
thank you.
because I made you a host. Bye.
Bye.
No, I feel rather hurt, Bill. You know, you followed me on Twitter and then
I
you
got
not
it.
followed me.
No, on Twitter.
Yeah, you followed me on Twitter.
I've got a bunch of Twitter accounts,
Oh, I see.
and so I'm
Jonathan,
testing different
are
things.
you-
I got like 10 Twitter accounts. Twitter.
Jonathan, no, I know that. You don't need to tell me
Twitter,
that.
we're
Jonathan,
testing out Twitter. You can have, you can put out tweets. I did get retweeted 9 times with one of my tweets, but we're finding that email is still the best thing to have to send somebody. Send me your email. I'll send you notifications.
Oh, sorry. Jonathan, if you're still on here, mate, I hope you're
He's up there. Jonathan's there. He's got a cold. He can come up if he wants to.
Oh, I missed that, man. I thought that all week
Jonathan,
about
come
trying
on
to
up. You guys
talk
can
to
finish
you.
it up if you want to.
Oh, that's all right.
He does have a cold.
Oh, sorry. Bob,
Boom.
you're a cheeky
my brother.
You're a cheeky bastard. How are you, mate?
A cheeky bastard.
I'm wonderful. If I were any better, I'd be you. I would be you.
Dakota, that's not your picture, though, is it? Who is that?
No, it's Ian Richardson. He's a Scottish actor. My granddad died. Yes, my granddad died yesterday.
I'm sorry to hear that.
From a heart. Sorry, he died from a heart attack, and what he left me in his will. And Jonathan, if you're watching this, you'll probably know what this is. He left me this in his will.
House of Cards.
Yeah,
that's the original one.
That's the original. It was his favorite. He left that to me in his will.
So was he died in, was it Oregon?
Mm-hmm.
So he was in Oregon? Is that why you're there?
Yeah. Well, no. It's a little personal for me to explain.
Okay, don't worry about it.
No, sorry, I'll explain. I trust you guys. I went on holiday, because I found out that my granddad had surgery for a heart problem, and so I took a leave of absence from the Commons. And I thought, if I spent a month with him, I could really, talk to him and make sure he's feeling better. And I was out having coffee, and I found out I got a text on my mobile that he died, and I was really heartbroken. So I told him I met you, Bob.
Thank God you had the time to be there.
Thank God That's true. And last week, I told him I met you two and I met Jonathan, and I showed him the video replay, Bill, of our conversation. And Bob, he really wanted me to tell you that despite the fact that you're a cheeky bastard, and I tell you what, that's exactly what he said. He's a cheeky bastard, but he's a lucky sod because he likes politics that much. He really, he liked that conversation. So I'm here tonight. I'm really here.
Half the time, Bill knows me well because, like I said, we've worked together for many years, over 20 years. It's half the time I will just throw a turd in the punch bowl just to see who goes, oh God.
Well, right, and they got their Scotsman, really on top of it. No,
you know what happens in politics? People hear the first thing and it sticks in their mind, and they don't hear anything else. And Bob will do that. And there's like the Stanislaus County Taxpayers Association. He's like, I think half of them think they want to run him over.
Now, before I forget, I posted a link of that article. I have a friend that works for a prominent paper, and he showed me a little bit of a link. Now, I found out something, and you might want to take the recording off this because it's not really public
take it
for
off.
most people.
I'm recording right now.
I tell you the polls I saw today. Showed Trump has a pretty good lead in California, which surprises me seriously.
Who's running his campaign in California?
I don't even know.
Sacramento. That's a big state.
I don't think, Bill, right now you don't need to run a campaign in a state. There's so much free airtime he has. The message is out there.
Who are the big consultants now? Preston still there? Blanding?
Yeah, they're all there.
Gilliard's still there? Gilliard?
Bill, they're all the same thing. They're all cookie cutter, same simple message.
Yeah, I like that cookie cutter.
Momentum, just get it out there, push it out there, mail. That's all the same
cookie
stuff.
cutter doesn't necessarily work in every city. You got to tailor your message to the city.
No, you do target your message to the individual, sure.
Yeah.
But it's all the same stuff. You still contact the voter. You try to find an issue that motivates them to go to the polls. Not logical, emotional, because you don't hear a crime of logic. Nobody kills somebody out of logic.
No, logic. In fact, I was just listening to it today.
All right, so you have to find some way to get them evolved. And
I've been listening to listening and watching each week. I'm really hooked on it. Is the Gallup report. I listen to it too, and I read it. And they were talking today about the psychology of, they're on the polling, because they talk about the psychology behind the polling. And it talked about, it talked about the Trump riots and stuff. Now that was helping other people in other places, reverse psychology.
Well, when people look at this as the quote unquote the enemy, your political party. I mean, politics is war without bloodshed, but now there's a little bit of bloodshed. And if you could motivate your people to realize you're being attacked by groups that are quote unquote considered to be anti-American, then automatically you're associated with the American side of it.
Here's what it was: is President Obama is at 53%.
But nobody cares about Obama.
But I'm saying that's the highest he's been in a long time.
Because nobody cares about Obama.
And that's where he came to social science, because of what's happening to Trump. They think is pushing Obama up.
No,
Congress is still at 13%. It's been as low as 11% approval rating.
Yeah, but he's not relevant. Obama's not relevant to anything right now. I mean, it's 333 days, I think, that he has left, and that's he's gone.
Yeah,
we're going to stop him everywhere we can now. The Republicans in the Senate and in the House, they have to, because if they don't, they'll all be looking for work.
Yeah. Also, they talked about this. I couldn't quite understand this week's analysis, but it was hard to figure out on who's voting for who. Hey, I'm going to go, Bob. I got to edit this thing. What time is it? I got so much work. I got a lot of work to do.
Well, then why don't you go get it done? You can't get finished until you do what, Bill? Get it started.
Yeah, you got to start it, then you finish it, right? I got to eat dinner first, though.
Hey, I've got some stew. You want me to fax you some?
Yeah, I'll take some
it's beef stew.
stew.
I do a great job.
And we both got look, you beat me. You got 342. I got 323.
Of what?
Down, see these things with props?
Yeah, what is that?
People just when they like you say something, they give them to you.
Oh, everybody likes me then. I wonder how many of those did Jonathan give me? Probably 340 of those.
You're going to be the number one like blab.
Yeah. Blab, blab. Yeah.
Hey, I got my political Twitter site set up.
Good. Shut it down, Bill.
I'll just leave it framed there. Just leave it there. Yeah. It just says Bill Conrad US at Bill Conrad US. Smile.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. I did not. Nothing to do with her. Never saw her before in my life. Come here, little girl. Love you.
Billy's watching. One person's watching.
And they're crazy. They're going, what the hell are they doing watching this stuff? They're nuts.
One person's watching
30 of 30. Fantastic lies. It's all good. See you later.
All right. I'm going to hang up. Since you got the host, I'm going to hang up on you.
Go ahead.
So wave goodbye. I'm going to hang up. Bye, Stu. Hey, thanks, everybody. Tomorrow we have back Meet the Voter. Not Meet the Voter, but I have an interview at 4 p.m. on Blab. I'm going to drop in the link. I should have dropped this in earlier. At the end, timelines of success. I should have done this while everyone was here. Schedule. So everyone could subscribe to it. Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific. I should have put this in earlier. That was bad. Paste. There you go. There's my Blab link. So for my interview. Anyway, take care. Let me shoot this out. Great blab. Nice blab. Nice. Thanks. Put this in. Miss T. Let me see. Okay. Hey, thank you also, Miss T, for tweeting that out. Appreciate it. I am gone. Let me hang up here.